Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. This is another episode of Monday Morning Memes, May 2nd, 2022. I am Dr. Nik Nikam from Houston, Texas. Today, the topics of focus will be China, COVID pandemic, economy, Ukraine war, and of course, the stock market, which is your retirement fund. So let us begin with the feature presentation. In the last several weeks, there has been a significant surge in the number of COVID cases in China, especially starting with Shanghai and now spreading to Beijing and many other cities in China. They had as many cases as more than 50,000, and it has come down to 30,000 in the last few weeks. According to the data collected by Google, here is a chart of China comparing to that of the world as far as the COVID pandemic is concerned. Even though they report 951,000 cases of COVID with 4,975 deaths, on the world scene, there have been more than 500 million people who have been infected by this COVID virus, and many of its variants, with more than 6.23 million people having died as a result of this COVID pandemic, which started in December of 2019 and is still ravaging through the world or different parts of the world at different times. According to the Johns Hopkins data collection, the numbers are much more significant compared to the data from China or from other sources. According to the Johns Hopkins data collection, China has recorded 2.156 million cases with 14,368 deaths. And the interesting fact is that more than 3.3 billion doses of COVID vaccines have been administered to 1.246 billion people. That means more than 88.31% of the population has been fully vaccinated, which is the highest in any part of the world. Then how is it China is having resurgence of COVID, and that could be the result of the many COVID variants that have made circuits through the rest of the world, like Africa, United States, Europe, starting with Delta wave and then the Omicron wave in the year 2021. So what is in the future for China? At this present time, in the last several weeks, the COVID cases have come down, but nonetheless, the resurgence of this COVID, especially in Shanghai and Beijing, the major cities, has brought these cities to a crippling halt with multiple lockdowns and businesses coming to a standstill. So much so, people in Shanghai are complaining about these lockdowns, restricting them from getting any access to food or any other necessities. Here's a summary of what is happening in Shanghai. Shanghai being the most hyper-modern financial capital of China, it is the center of daily struggle for more than 25 million people. The residents are forbidden from leaving their confines or apartments or housing complexes. They are desperate for food, they are desperate for freedom and mobility. And now this has spread to Beijing, and actually more than 40 cities in China at the present time are in some sort of a lockdown. So this lockdown is going to have a significant impact not only on China's economy, but also China's ability to supply products and services to other parts of the world, especially Europe and America, who are heavily dependent on Chinese imports. As a result, now we're going to see a second round of supply chain interruption that is going to have a rippling effect all over the globe in Europe, in the United States, and other parts of the world. The Chinese economy, which grew at a pace of 18.3% right after the COVID pandemic has come down steadily, and its GDP is projected to be around 4% in the year 2022, which is going to have a rippling effect again on the world economy, many of which are dependent heavily on the Chinese imports. Now let's turn gears and look at this war that is going on in Ukraine. War of words and war of weapons between Putin and Zelensky. The Russia-Ukraine war enters day 67 this week, and there is no sign of relief. There is no sign of any reduction in the massive destruction of civilization in Ukraine. Who is funding this war? Who is fueling this fireworks going on in Ukraine? Systematically destroying city after city to dust and evaporation of civilization. And if you look at the world map, majority of this fuel for the fire is coming from North America, especially the United States and Canada, along with some European countries. But if you look at the amount of arms and ammunition coming into Ukraine, you will be surprised, you shouldn't be surprised to see that the United States has provided $4.77 billion worth of military aid to Ukraine, and compare that with the rest of Europe and other countries. So the question really is, are the wars of word between Biden and Putin, or these arms and ammunitions bringing an end to this war which has lasted for 67 days and with no relief in sight? What has been the United States' role in this Russia-Ukraine war? It has been nothing but wars of words and supplying billions of dollars worth of arms and ammunitions, which has led to colossal destruction of the civilization in every major city in Ukraine. And along with that, we have more than 4 million Ukraine residents who have been displaced, Poland being the largest receiver of these refugees. As a result, Poland is overburdened with the number of refugees. So much so, you can see all the shelters are overflowing with refugees from Ukraine, and Poland has almost 2.9 million refugees, and these refugees will be, of course, arriving at the United States, and they will be spread throughout entire Europe. Negotiations between Ukraine and Russia have been happening from time to time with absolutely no progress whatsoever. But the real question is, the United States, which is giving the maximum military support to the Ukraine army, and where is the United States in the negotiation? How come they are not there at the negotiating table? Are billions of arms and ammunitions the solution to an existing problem, or a diplomatic resolution is the answer? It looks like Putin is not happy with what's going on, and he is looking through the binoculars, looking for what's to come. Some pundits are predicting he's aiming at Poland, which could be the next target for being one of the accomplices in this Russia-Ukraine war. But let me tell you, as long as Putin is in power, anything is on the table, because he is determined to accomplish his goal. Whether he's going to be successful or not, that's a different story. But in the process, there's going to be massive destruction of civilization. There's going to be massive disruption of the world peace. And of course, United States will be slowly but definitely dragged into a bigger conflict. And is that what America wants? Is that what the West wants? I think this is something which has to be seriously addressed, more so than flooding Ukraine with arms and ammunitions. Now, let's switch gears to economy and all of what is happening in the world. The COVID pandemic, resurgence in China, the ongoing war between Ukraine and Russia is having a profound impact on the United States economy. Of course, there are huge problems within this country because of lack of leadership, which has led to an economic turmoil here in the United States. Just look at the interest rates here. The treasury rates, which were 0.50% just in January of 2021, has come to 2.88%. It even peaked at 3%. This is just one economic indicator. Every economic indicator you look at, such as CPI, has been the highest in the past 40 years. Compared to 1980s, this is the first time the CPI has reached 8.5% and it continues to go up. It is just not the CPI, GDP, which has been stalling despite all the progresses made or claimed by the administration. The mortgage rates are slowly creeping up. The real estate bubble that has been in existence for the past several years is maybe ready to burst because of the increasing mortgage rates, along with inflation and significant increase in gas prices, food prices. Every aspect of life has been affected here in the United States long before the war started, long before the COVID pandemic resurgence happened in China. So this is an internal problem for the United States, and that is not going to get any better in the near future. That brings us to the stock market. Stock market is our personal fortune in retirements, in savings accounts, and in our deposits. So what happens to the stock market is going to reflect as what's left in our nest egg when we are ready to retire. Is there going to be any money left when we retire? Let's take some look at here. As you can see, since last November, the stock market has been on a steady decline. According to the technical experts, for example, Roy Robb from Elliott Wave Options is predicting that the S&P, the next stop could be below $400. That is just one aspect of the whole stock market. But that may not be the end of the rut that is running through the stock market. That may be just the beginning, and there may be a series of aftershocks after that, which are to come according to the technical experts. That's just the S&P 500. Let's look at here. NASDAQ, QQQ, which used to be the darling of all the stock market segments like Dow, QQQ, NASDAQ, and S&P. Now NASDAQ has taken a significant hit. It is down close to 20%, and the worst may be yet to come according to the technical analysts and Elliott Wave predictors. Dow Jones is the one which is doing a lot better compared to the other two, namely the S&P 500 and NASDAQ, but still it is not over yet as far as the stock market downturn is concerned, according to many experts and economists. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is a quick overview of Monday Morning MEMS for May 2nd, 2022. We talked about China COVID pandemic resurgence and what effect it's going to have on China, its population, its businesses, and the rippling effects in Europe, United States, and other parts of the world. The unending relentless Ukraine war with massive destruction of civilization and more than 4 million people having displaced as refugees. The economy, which is on a downslide, on a steep downslide, even long before the COVID pandemic in China and the Ukraine wars started. The stock market is reflecting all these effects. And until next week, I am Dr. Nik Nikam from Houston, Texas. Thank you so much for watching this presentation. And please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I will see you next Monday with another episode of Monday Morning Memes from Triple N Media.